Hello, boys and girls. This is Anderseel, of course, and welcome to Cooking with Anderseel. This is something I promised a very, very long time ago, and I thought I would finally actually do it. I'm in my kitchen, so the audio is gonna be a little bit of echoey or whatever. This is what we're gonna be using. We're gonna be using this is oregano. This is chili sauce. That's brun farin or brown sugar, basically. We got creme fraiche, and we got pork meat under there, some lovely pork chops. We have ourselves a garlic, and we have some timjan. This is kind of like small pine needles. I don't know exactly how to explain that. I don't know the word for it in English. The things we're gonna be using is a good kitchen knife. I'm gonna sharpen it. I always do that almost before I start, and a grinder to basically grind up some of the herbs and the garlic and that kind of stuff. And this is a lovely dish that you can eat together with potatoes, you can eat it together with pasta, but most people eat it together with rice. Let's get started. Okay, like I said, I like to first sharpen the knife. This is, I don't know if you guys ever seen one of these things, but this I've had for many, many years. It's quite simple. You just place it on the table, and then you drag the knife a couple of times to make sure it's good and sharp. And I personally like to just wipe it off real clean on a towel. If you're like me, you probably have some issues with the cutting board moving about. A good thing to do then is just a little bit of water on a hand towel. You can't see it now because, yeah, I'm alone. I don't have a cameraman here. This is not one of those professional thing shows, but you place an old towel, basically, whatever, and there you go. Good cutting surface right there. We want to have, let's see, Hitman, you wanted some pieces of meat, right?
I'm hungry.
We tried having Hitman as a cameraman once upon a time, but we realized that he is not very good. So that's why I'm using my camera stand. And personally, I don't like the fat on the meat, so I like to remove it. There we go. Nice slab. It doesn't hurt to have just a little bit, but too much, I don't quite like it. It's not exactly my thing. There we go, not too shabby. And now we want to slice this, we call it strimla in Swedish. And just simply make some nice cuts of it, preferably quite thin, because we want it to cook quickly. Hopefully I don't cut my fingers off, that would be horrible. Yeah, you wanted some Annika's gryta, right? Hitman?
I'm hungry.
Yeah, that's why I took 2 pork chops. Otherwise it's enough with 1 pork chop per person. And I like to cut it a little bit uneven, so not every single piece is just as big, but still kind of around the same thickness. The length doesn't matter, but the thickness matters, because otherwise some pieces are going to be dry and not exactly super good. At least in my opinion.
That's what she said.
That's what she said. So we got that cut up. We are going to cook the garlic, so it doesn't matter if we cut that up on the same board that we just used up for the actual pork. And what I like to do is take a fork and then crush it, or kind of almost grind it. This gives a really smooth texture to the garlic, and you won't end up with those big pieces in your food, because that's kind of a little bit off-putting. I think it's nice with a little bit of garlic taste, and then it looks something around about like this. Quite nice stuff, not too bad. Then we're gonna want to actually grind up some of the herbs. Like I said, the timjan. And you need about, I would say, oh, it refuses to get out. You need about that amount for 2 servings. And you want to ground it pretty smooth, because this is the kind of stuff that sometimes you bite into it and it just like fucks up your teeth, or not your teeth, but your gum, and it just hurts eating, and that's not very nice. I have a little bit of water and oil in here, so you can kind of see how it looks like. Becomes kind of a paste, and then you just simply scoop that up with a fork, or you can put a little bit of the chili sauce in there and mix it around, and then scoop it up that way. And we also want to add some of the oregano. You don't need to add this in the mortal, or the mortal. I don't know the English word for it, but you need about that much, so you get a good taste in the whole thing. You want it to be decently seasoned. Okay, a little bit of camera movement, and now it is time to actually start the cooking itself. We got ourselves our nice little ground up herbs here. We're gonna just need a little bit of a spoon. Like I said, I put in the tomato sauce slash chili sauce in there just to be able to catch as much of the herbs as possible. It's not super important you get all of it, but you want as much taste as possible. And then we of course want some more in there for the good sake of taste. Somewhere around there. So now we got both all of the spices in and the actual chili sauce. We want to have a little bit of a brown sugar. Actually quite a lot, because this is a kind of a sweet and sour sauce thing. You might notice, yeah, it's a lot of sugar, but it's gonna be good, trust me. I know this shit. I know this shit. Well. So what we want to happen now is we want the heat to really get up here and start evaporating some of the water, and you're gonna notice it when it starts to almost caramelize the sauce itself. We want to reduce it with maybe half of the water that's in the chili sauce at the moment. Okay, now we let it simmer for about 3 or 4 minutes, and we can already see it's getting thicker and more dark, and we can see it's like caramelizing the sugar here in the bottom. Now I turn down the heat from maximum to about half of what my stove can handle. I got settings from 1 to 6, and it's on 3 at the moment. And something I personally like to do is remove bigger pieces of tomatoes from the actual chili sauce, but this time it looks to be pretty good. I'm kind of stirring around here to look if I can see any of them, and no, I can't really see any of them, so we should be pretty good to go. And the sauce is starting to look pretty good, so it's time to add in the actual meat. Put that in there, and the last scraps of the spices and the garlic to give it good taste. And now all we gotta do is let this go on about almost max heat. So I'm gonna turn it up now because the meat is gonna push the temperature down in the frying pan, as this is. I was about to say stekpanna, the Swedish word for it. Oops. And you can see it gets really messy when you do this kind of stuff. I don't know if you can see, you can only maybe see this on the camera, but there's like tons of small speckles of like red, and that's sadly one of the bad things about this. You could make it in one of these kinds of pots. You get basically the exact same result, but it's kind of hard to film down in one of those without a cameraman, and like I said, Hitman ain't one of the best cameramans. So I'm just gonna let this warm up now for about maybe 2 or 3 more minutes until the meat kind of has almost cooked through, and then we're gonna add the creme fraiche, and there we go. It's been simmering now for a couple of minutes. I don't even know if you can see my face there. It's kind of hard, like I said. But now we want to turn off the heat completely. The meat is almost completely cooked through. And now we want to add the creme fraiche. And we want a big scoop of it here, actually, to even out the really tough flavors of the spices, the herbs, the garlic, and also what else? The chili. And the best way of actually getting it in is just slightly carefully stir it in, like how you treat a Swedish lady. I can't help but think about the epic Swedish mealtime when I do this kind of stuff. You can see it's getting this like pink color now. We kind of stirred it in, and now we need to just get it all in there. And this is why it gets the word gryta, because it's not exactly a chili stew per se, but it's kind of a sweet and sour chili stew with some really interesting flavors, I would say. And this is kind of where you want to add more creme fraiche if you don't want it too hot, and a lot more if you want it really smooth in the taste. I personally think it's about perfect for me right now, so yeah. And here we go, dinner is served. And I would suggest you take quite a lot of the sauce and stuff, because this is the good stuff. Num 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 num. It might look a little bit like korv stroganoff for any Swedish people watching. Obviously you might want to have a little bit more nice things than just rice and this oh god, chili sauce or whatever you want to call it. But I mean, like, heck, you can have this in almost anything. I forgot that you can have it in your tacos, like in the meat, with vegetables and all that kind of good stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I don't have much more to say, really. I hope you guys enjoyed the cooking show. I'm sorry for wearing my glasses here, but I didn't feel like putting in the contact lenses. But yeah, this is gonna be jummy jum. Oh god, it's so hard. Trying to hold it with the tripod and everything. But yeah, anyways, as usual, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Have a wonderful day. Bye bye.